to get rid of it, they would burn it. It was always burning. And so it's the symbol of the eternal flames, was just this experience that Jesus said, if you're angry, you're in danger of Gehenna. You're in danger of this smoldering energy that's there. And so is that what we want? Is that the way we want to live? No, so we have to identify that and let go. And I like what Denzel Washington said. He says, some people will never like you because you irritate their demons. Of course, for me, as we inverse that, why do they irritate me? Because of my demons, right? Yeah, and in the New Testament, they called it the unclean spirit. And that represents that part of us that we're holding on to that's not helpful. And we need to clean it out. We need to clean it out and work for something else. Eckhart Tolle talks about the pain body, that all these traumas that we have, we experience, we hold on to that energy. And it's something, again, that interferes with us living. I had a woman come for healing one time years ago. Her left shoulder was just locked up in pain. If she had any kind of movement, it was just this intense pain that she had. And so we went into prayer, went into meditation, and we dialogued with the energy. And what came to her, the origin of this was when she was a small girl, she had an older brother. Every time her older brother would come in the house, he would hit her in the shoulder. And it happened again and again. And so she got to the point where she would anticipate when he was coming, she would tense up. But then what she also noticed, that that's the way she reacted to everything in life that she thought was going to be a threat from then on. She would tense up. And it got to the point where it was just painful. And so as we identified that and dialogued with the energy, and I love what Craig talks about, is, are you safe right now? Yeah, and so we used that, and she was able to release that, and with just in 15, 20 minutes, she had full movement of her shoulder with no pain at all. So we carry this pain body, and it's part of our work is to identify where is that energy, where is that limiting energy, where are we holding on in our body, in our emotions, in our thoughts, where are we holding on to it? Being present to it, and recognizing that it's there, first of all. And not pretending, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. And when everybody tells me, I go, no, you're not. Tell me the truth. I'm really here to be present to you, to hear what's going on so that we can be present to it, so we can be present in a different way, so that it can be released, so that we can live in a different way in our lives. And so this is an important question here. Where do these trauma energies reside in us? And sort of be like a little kid. When little kids are walking along, they're picking up the stones to see what's alive underneath it. I invite you to think of that. What you're doing is these pains, these experiences, these tensions that we have, see what's alive underneath it so that you can free it, so you can let it go, so it can be experienced in another way. One of the things I love about watching the services when Craig is here is that he gets us to be present and still in a very clear way. And somehow easier, because it is easier in a corporate group to make that connection. I mean, that's part of why we gather together in church, is to have that. And so to have that and recognize, to be aware of your thoughts, to be aware of your feelings, to be present to them, so that you can see, is this helpful or not? And we'll talk about that some more. And so observing our thoughts and feelings, these energies that are happening in us, so that we can notice when they're limiting us. So that we can move on to the E of new, which is then excuse yourself from bondage. Say, no thank you, I don't need this anymore. It was a pattern I used to protect myself in the past, but it's not helpful now. My reaction to someone, something may have been helpful in the past, but it's getting in the way of my relationships right now. My reaction that I've got to save, got to hold on, got to do this, holds us back from experiencing the abundance of God's infinite presence. And so recognizing that these patterns may have served us, but probably not now. So to excuse ourselves from that. Remember Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death. How much of a slow death are we sometimes experiencing that we don't want? And we want to be free from that in our lives. And so when I say Happy New You, what I'm really saying is there's a true you that you want to be living from and let go of what else there is in there. And we have, those of you who studied our Unity 12 powers know that we do have a power of release, a power of renunciation that says no. That says no. And if you need some more practice in this, next month, February 12th, I'll be here. And after church, I'm doing a workshop called The Positive Power of No. So you're invited to be here for that. And I've done it about 4 times now. And people just go, I feel free. I feel free. So we can do that work as we do this. One of the things that it's so important is to catch how we're limiting ourselves. When I was at the Unity Church in Merced, we started out with about 20 people and it began to grow. And in any organization, when people first come, they put $1 in the offering, and then they put $2, and then it's $5, and then they start writing checks. And at some point, they really get that sense of I want to give in a way, and so they start tithing. And so it's so fun to see not only that they're giving to the church, but then the changes that happens in their life when they move out of a sense of lack and move into a sense of abundance. I'm living from abundance because I'm connected with God. And then the thing that would make me mad is that because their lives are getting so much better, they get a job, a better job, someplace else. And about the 3rd time that happened, it takes me about 3 times to catch myself sometimes. What I said, okay, this is not working. I'm just getting mad at God. And so I changed. My thought was, I'm tithing a tither to another church. Because isn't that minister going to be happy when somebody shows up and starts tithing in their church? It's going to be great for them. So I'm going to tithe. I'm going to think of that I'm not losing something. I'm giving something. And it shifted the energy in such a powerful way out of living in that sense of limitation to living into a sense of abundance. And so it's recognizing that once we catch it, say no to that. No, excuse me. I don't need you in my life anymore. I have something more to experience, something greater. And so we've all heard of post-traumatic stress. There's also post-traumatic growth. And to recognize that stress that we feel, at some point we're going to say, I've got to do something about this. And so we look at what needs to be shifted, what we can say no to, what we can release in our lives in a greater way. And to realize that our mistakes and our failures are part of what leads us into something more, something greater. Think about Abraham Lincoln. If you look at his history of political losses and victories, he had more political losses, election losses, than victories. But the victories were important, weren't they? And they certainly overcame what those losses were. And so we'll have experiences in our life where it's not working the way that we want it to. And the idea is, as Daniel was saying, let you be an empty hand. Let me let go of what I think it is and be open to what Spirit has, open to what I can receive from this. And there's something more. There's always something more in our lives. And to learn to breathe through those difficulties. Another opportunity that's coming up, our current board president, Lisa Colabar, is going to be taking the training on quantum living process, which is about taking something that happens that we get upset about and looking for what's underneath it. What's our history about that? And in addressing that, being able to release that so that it's not driving us, it's not limiting us anymore. So that's going to be coming up, and I'm so glad the board's taking the training. And it's just so helpful for us to see, here's my pattern that I've been doing. I don't need to do this anymore. Once it's conscious, it's much easier to let it go in our lives. So here's an affirmation for us. I am free to be an expression of Spirit. Let's say that. I am free to be an expression of Spirit. And what I invite you to notice is those little echoes in conscience say, yeah, but you're a dumbhead. Yeah, but you've been doing those old patterns for so long. And see, that's that stuff that we need to notice that's still there in consciousness. Even as we're doing our affirmations, part of what we're doing is digging up that old consciousness so that we can let it go. So let's say it again. I am free to be an expression of Spirit. I am free to be an expression of Spirit. And again, there's a stirring of energy, but see what else comes up with that energy and be aware of that as we do that. And the other piece of this, of letting go, is this idea of karma to grace. Karma is you're stuck with this forever, right? You blew it. You blew it. You blew it. But what grace says is, yeah, you blew it. Did you learn something? Can you grow through this? Can you move in a different way? And I love this phrase that I have here. I am free from the past, the mistakes of the past, and the results of the mistakes of the past. We're digging deeper, right? Digging deeper to release those things. Because we can take those on as burdens, and they just limit who we are. They limit our expression. That's not what God created us to do or to be. So to be open to that in a greater way. So notice the limiting energy. Excuse yourself from bondage. And then the W is wield spiritual authority. Our daily word for today is power. And the 12 powers, Charles Fillmore identifies at the throat, the throat chakra there. I like to use the word authority. We have been given spiritual authority in our lives. Now, sometimes we say, well, they did this, and so I had to do this. If it wasn't for that, if only. No, we have authority to be clear, to release what needs to be released, and to establish in our consciousness the truth that we are, the light, the love, the joy, the peace, all those things. We have the authority to let that be what's resonating in our energy field. No one else has authority over that. They can say whatever they want, and you just go, excuse me, this is who I am. Not that. I am that. I am that. I am that truth that is in there in your life. And so this question, Shara's talked about the hero's journey, as that's going to be her model for the year, which she's going through. And it's a wonderful model because where it starts is where everything is sort of okay, but not really. And we've sort of been putting up with the way things are, but then something finally pushes us, and we've got to break out into the unknown. We don't know what's going to be, but through that process of moving, there's experiences of more letting go, of things that we learn, and companions that we have, support that we have, until we come back to where we are in a different way. We come back with new understanding. We come back with new authority. We come back with new gifts that move us ahead. And so this is the key, is to recognize that we're called then all through that process of our lives, because it's not something we do once, oh, then I'm done. The hero's done. Then they live happily ever after, right? For about 2 seconds. And then something else gets pushed in. And so it's that recognition that we're always called to be present to who we are in that spiritual reality. And so, again, the question I brought up in meditation, what is it time to release? Maybe it's been niggling at you for weeks, for months, for years, for decades. Or maybe it's something new. Maybe it's a new awareness. No, it's time to not do this anymore. It's time to do something different. It's time to let this be. And it could be a relationship. It could be a job. It could be a hobby. It could be all, it's mostly about thoughts for me. But limiting thoughts that I have about myself and others. It's time. It's time to let that go. It's time to move ahead. And to recognize that, again, as we're working with our thoughts, there's 2 questions that I read about recently. Are my thoughts useful? How do they behave? And I find this, I'll be thinking about someone, and usually this little judgmental voice in the back of my head, well, they were just, And what I was working with is to catch myself and go, how bizarre to think that about somebody else. Because that's not true about them. If they're a spiritual being and I'm a spiritual being, that's a really bizarre thought to have. So do I need that thought? No. Is it helpful? Where does it take me? It takes me places I don't want to go. It takes me into energies that limit what I can do. It takes me to places where I'm not able to be of service in a clear and grateful and joyful way. So, are they helpful? If not, it's time to let go. It's time to move. And again, as the stuff comes up, again, rather than judging ourselves for still having those thoughts, do it in a way of curiosity. Isn't it curious that I'm still thinking that, even though I know it doesn't help me? Isn't that interesting that I'm still thinking that? It's time. It's time to let it go. It's time. It's time to open up to something more. And one of the keys here is that we are used to, from a human point of view, looking for a linear thinking that, as I do my work, it's going to be this gradual uphill climb to something better. But if you look at evolution, the way it happens, it's at this one level for a long time, and then all of a sudden there's a jump. And then it's at a level for a long time, and then there's a jump. And so be patient with ourselves if we're not seeing the results that we want right away. Because as we change our energy field, as we change our consciousness, things will be released and new things will come on. But they have to grow, they have to percolate. They have to get roots. The new things have to get roots for them to grow in a new way in our lives. H.M. Lake Katie, in her book Lessons in Truth, has a chapter called Bondage or Liberty, Which? There's a choice that we have. What's my choice? And it's not just a one-time choice, it's an every moment choice. What am I going to be bound to? No, I don't want that. What am I free to? What's my liberty here in life? She has a wonderful idea in her book. She says, God did not make us to be spiritual pygmies. God made us to be spiritual giants. So how are we living? Mostly like pygmies. But that's not the way God made us. And so, what do we need to notice that's limiting energy? Can we excuse ourselves from that bondage and wield that spiritual authority to live the truth that we are in our lives? So, I love this. The board and the staff did a white stone for the church, and the word that came to them was breakthrough. For 2023, breakthrough. And I thought, isn't that powerful? Breaking through. And of course, just to admit, sometimes there's a breakdown before there's a breakthrough. But that breakdown is there to help us let go of stuff that wasn't working anyways, so that the breakthrough can happen in our lives. So trust the letting go. Engage the letting go, so that other stuff can come through in your lives. So, questions, and then I'll be done. What do you need to be aware of? What you need to release, and what you need to bring forth in a new way. So let's just breathe for that in a moment of prayer. Dear Spirit, thank you. Thank you for this breath, for the letting go, that there can be a bringing in. I want a deep letting go, a deep letting go. And breathing through those things that don't work, that don't serve me and others, so that I may embrace and engage in your living presence in a more radiant and powerful way. I'm grateful for each awareness that comes about what is not working, so that I can say no, so that I have a new energy to say yes to your truth. Thank you, God, for living free in 2023. Amen.
Oh, it's me. Oh my goodness. Self-forgiving, let it go. It's okay. I get wrapped up. When do I start? Who starts? Who's responsible? Oh, but in unity, you will always be helped. Someone will let you know. So, for a person like me, this is very affirmative and helpful. So now is the time to welcome our first-time guests. In person and online, welcome, welcome. We are so grateful that you have joined us today. Our evolutionary purpose here at Unity of Tustin is to transform lives and inspire people to make a positive difference in their lives and in our world. We also believe in many paths, one God. Unity of Tustin is an inclusive community, and we would like you to know that whatever your background, spiritual path, sexual orientation, or gender identity, you are welcome to celebrate God with us, because God and unity leave no one out. The ushers are coming forward with a flower and information so you can connect with our community. If you are here for the first time and are comfortable in doing so, we invite you to raise your hand so we can recognize you. Oh, in the back. Oh, wonderful. Yay. Oh, and over here. Oh. Sorry. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. What an honor and a greatness that you are here with us today. So now is the time for our love offering for those of you who are not first-time guests, which is everybody except for 3 people. We take this moment to share our financial gifts with our ministry. Our ministry and meditation gardens at the Unity of Tustin exist because of our community committed giving. There are many ways for you to give. The ushers are passing the love offering basket, and there is a donation kiosk at the back of the sanctuary and a QR code on the back of your order of service. Our online community can click on the donate tab on our live stream, and we encourage everyone to set up automatic giving on our website.
So as we do our giving, just do you feel blessed by being here? Yes. Yeah. And so then the opportunity is, as you give, so you receive. And so it's supporting those, so to support that experience, to support our church in that. And the giving can be worshipful. And whether, some of you have all the automatic giving, so you don't have anything in your hands, but think of that gift that you have, that you are. And let's say these words together. So if we could have the next slide. So, God is my source. I am a channel of prosperous blessings. I bless and give thanks as I share from infinite abundance. Let's do it again. God is my source. I am a channel of prosperous blessings. I bless and give thanks as I share from infinite abundance. Well, just let that energy soak in. That God is your source, that infinite presence, that gives all that it is in every moment. And as we know that, then we become channels for that, to bless those around us, to bless our church. And as we bless and share, we know that we are seeing that cycle of giving and receiving expand for us and for all. Thank you, God. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Blair. So are we still doing that?
Yeah, we'll do the blessing.
Okay, very good. So please join me with the offering affirmation. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I give, and all that I receive. Now, as our ushers come forward, our musical guest, Daniel Nahmod, has another gift to share.
Thank you. Among other goals that I have in life, my goal is to be the only person, I think, today to not drop anything on this stage. Would I be the only one? Did you drop something too? I think you did. It's a very powerful gravitational force on this stage. I'm not sure what's happening. Gusts of gravity, yeah. Anyway, all right. So I have one more song. I'm going back and forth on what to sing for you guys, but you know what? I'm going to sing something that it's an intense and different kind of thing for me. I released it just before the world stopped turning, end of 2019, and so it's still new, even though it's not really new. If that makes sense. But it's a pivotal song for me in terms of some clarity. I've written a lot of songs and recorded a lot of music, but have never really stopped wondering exactly what it is I do for a living. And it's even harder, as hard as it is for me to understand myself, it's even harder for me to explain to strangers on a plane or in an elevator. It's not really pop music, and it's not gospel music, and no, you've never heard of it. Yes, Yes, I make a living. It's meant to make the world a better place, but no, as best I can, it's not cheesy or, I mean, I don't really know, you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it. So, but I finally hit on a way, and I also, I've talked about it before on this stage over the years, but I'm a child of Holocaust survivors, and it's also taken a long time for me to realize and I'm not at all religious, raised Jewish, proud Jewish, but not practicing really at all, and so it's taken a long time for me to sort of clarify how it is exactly that I honor my family that I knew and my family that I could never know, and that my intention with my music is in tribute to them and in memory of them, so it's kind of I hit on it in one crazy song. And that's what I'm going to sing for you. Some of you may have heard me do this before. I don't remember. I probably have done it here. I'm not sure when I would have, but maybe I did after it released it. And before I do that, first of all, thank you for having me. Nice job as always, Blair, and nice job, Tony, in the back. Just to, it's always worth mentioning because that is the tricky job that Tony has is that you only notice him if he screws it up. And what's so exceptional about Tony, not only is he a good guy and a good dad, and I've never been married to him, but I imagine a good husband, but he is also truly, truly good at his job. And it is something that you all have a right to take for granted because he shows up week after week, year after year, and is so good at his job that you don't notice him. But that's how good that guy is at his job, that you don't notice how good he is at his job. And I've been to thousands of houses of worship, and I'm telling you, he's one of the very best in the United States. And truly the last thing I want to say is today is a big day for Danny. I have been creating in a new art form, not quite new for me, but I am a woodworker. I've made a lot of furniture and desks and objects in my home over the years, and I have decided to make things for other people to put in their homes. And so if you glance at my table and say, why are there objects made of wood on the table of the singer-songwriter, that's because I still have all 10 fingers, but they're all damaged because I've been making a lot of wood objects. I'm rolling out a lot of different things, and so if you feel like looking and or shopping, you're invited to, or just saying, cool, or nothing at all. That'd be fine too. This is the first time I've been making. This is the first time they're in public at all. Yeah, thanks. I have the new album is called Real, which is on the table, and I have download cards which you can like put on your phone instead of buy a CD if you don't have a CD player anymore. And I have a USB drive which has 14 albums on it now. A collection on a little flash drive. If you don't know what a flash drive is, you don't want it. Don't even ask. And so here we go. That was a lot of ado, but without any further, let's do this song. And thank you again for having me. Here we go. I could sing about mistakes I've made, broken hearts and broken wings. I could sing about my aches and pains and the one that got away. But it seems to me the world has its hurts to spare. Shadows are everywhere. I decided I've cried enough. There's plenty of songs about tough luck. I'm gonna sing about love. Gonna sing about love and lift somebody up instead of talking about tough luck. I can't deny I still dream about the glory, the Grammy, the gold. I cannot lie. I still wish sometimes my eyes and my heart would close, but it seems to me my family escaped the war, and they never sang anymore. They lost everything they had, and if a song is all I can give back, I'm gonna sing about love. Gonna sing about love and lift somebody up. Gonna sing about love instead of talking about tough luck. Whoa, no more tough luck. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Gonna take my cue from a few folks I look up to. I'm gonna sing about love. Stevie Wonder sings in the key of life. Bobby McFerrin says, be happy, it'll be alright. Marvin Gaye showed the way to what's going on. It's a wonderful world thanks to Louis Armstrong. Soulless haven't saved those runaway kids. John Lennon, just imagine if the whole world did. John Devon took a sky with Tina Turner to the sea. Stevie Wonder went to a higher love. John Legend and Common to freedom. Pete Seeger is gonna overcome. Bob Marley just smiled at the rising sun. Eminem will lose himself before the moment's gone. Miss Jackson knows the knowledge is what we want. Gloria Gaynor maintained that we're gonna survive. Tim McGraw wants us to live like we are dying. Aretha got R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Bette Midler from a distance the whole world we see. Tom Petty free falls. Leanne hopes we dance. Josh Grover raises us up. If we're hurting, R.E.M. understands. Irving P. bless the USA. Van Morrison ushered in a brand new day. Whitney sang about the greatest love of all. Johnny Nash can see clearly now the rain won't fall. Pink knows we're beautiful. Christina does too. Rihanna sees her shining like a diamond. We keep walking like the Foo Fighters. Fight the power, Public Enemy said. Miley is a climber. Andy Grammer keeps his head up. Bill Withers, we can lean on him. Natasha's unwritten. Taylor Swift shakes it off again. Lady Gaga was born this way. Jason Mraz truly got to be our friend today. The Black Eyed Peas wonder where is the love. Desiree gotta be. Journey never stop believing in us. Simon over troubled water made a bridge. Elton John lit a candle for Diana. He did. It's the same love. Macklemore was moved to pray. Izzy made a rainbow with a ukulele. James Brown, Mountain Proud. Bruce Hornsby let it out the way it is. Queen made us into champions. U2 and Dr. King in the power of one. Sam Cooke made you look. Change is gonna come. Peter Gabriel ain't giving up on us just yet. We are the world. Save lives. No star they couldn't get. Irene Cara, what a feeling alive. Pharrell made us happy. Katy Perry lit a firework in the sky. Carole King, we've got a friend. Switchfoot dared us all to move again. Paul McCartney's words of wisdom were to let it be. And the weight of the world was taken off by Aloe Black and Avicii. So what do? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sing about love. Sing about love. And lift somebody up. Instead of talking about tough luck, I'm gonna sing about love.
So, do we get an encore, Daniel? Thank you so very much. This service has just been absolutely extraordinary. And I'm overwhelmed. I gotta tell you. Please join us, Daniel and all, for some good food and good connection after the service at the hospitality table. Our bookstore is open. Our Reiki practitioners with the green ribbons are available to provide Reiki. Prayer gardens to listen, pray with you, and hold your prayers in highest confidence. Now let us end our service with the prayer for protection. Please join me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go forth and live it. Thank you. That was hysterical.
I still dream.